Alright, hello and welcome back to Ashgabat Cat. So let's play that yet another no-name MAME game, arcade Calvacade. Just choose one. Anyway, today we're going with Twin Qix. But first, let's enjoy space. Twin Qix. I like that sound. Alright, let's play. So, funny thing, when this game was being selected, initially it was Gal's Panic, but then the random number generator, there were norms per round. I mean, there were usually social norms in life. I didn't know that there were social norms in the game as well. So initially, let's see, Gal's Panic came up in the rotation. But I don't know if you know anything about Gal's Panic, but it's basically Qix, except you're not tracing out pictures of space. You're not tracing out pictures of nature. Well, I guess in a certain sense you are tracing out pictures of natural objects, but mostly they're just girls in various states of undress, and not necessarily maximal, one might say. But anyway, it's basically this game, so it was kind of fortuitous when I hit the random number generator again, and I came up with this game, and it's like, well, that's just basically the same game again. Qix, for anybody who somehow is unaware of this game, and honestly, I don't know how I am so aware of this game. I mean, considering that it's gotten basically no console... Well, I was gonna say it has basically no console ports, but I swear there was, like, various Game Boy versions released back in the day. I even remember there being a Babar, like, Qix version or something. Or maybe, like, Nintendo Power reviewed the Babar game and the Qix game in the same episode. That's the thing about memories you formed as a child. It was a long time ago, and they're all kind of hazy now. And after a while, it's like, wait, did that even happen, or am I just making stuff up? Speaking of making stuff up, in the Gunsmoke video, I investigated some of the claims I made about these emulator handhelds I used to own, and it turns out a surprising majority of claims I made in that video are completely false. Once again, reiterating that if you're taking my words as any sort of gospel, as any sort of truth, you may want to reconsider your life decisions. Not just that singular decision. I mean, you may want to choose some other things. Okay, so the deal with Qix, I don't know if you've noticed, but you move around and you draw these things. Now you have to actually press a button to, like, leave your safety zone of this green line. So you have to, like, actually kind of commit to it. But basically, like, you try to go as safe as you can, and the game is trying its best to do everything against you. Wasn't there some sort of game like this for, like, the Windows laptop? But not like Windows XP, the one before that, where it was like skee ball or something, and there was like a giant ball, or there was like a giant pillar in the middle, and you had to, like, the balls were bouncing from place to place, and so you had to, hey, clear, and you had to, like, move it up and down so the balls could go in, but you also had to do kind of this. This is also a childhood memory. I don't know if you can tell. My childhood. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, what is your memory of things if not just, like, a bunch of hazy half memories that, like, you kind of look back on and you're like, I don't think it happened that way, but maybe it did. But also it probably didn't. Anyway, back to this game. Although I feel like this game is somehow so archetypical that, like, there are just a ton of games that are kind of like it. Now, you can see I'm playing this sort of, like, turtle strategy. You can also kind of do a slow but steady kind of strategy here, where you slowly, like, edge out where you want to go. You'd think this would be good, but the bosses already thought of that, and so maybe I'm just being paranoid, or maybe this is, like, real, but I feel like the boss is, like, shadowing my movements, and, like, it knows what I'm up to. It knows what I'm trying to do. Oh, miss. Oh, okay, I was wondering why it stopped the action. It's like, miss. It's like, I mean, I'm aware that I lost a life. Why are you reminding me? Thank you. This game, it just thanked me. Oh, Well, now I know why it's playing it so nice. It's because it reset my progress, No, okay. For a second there, I thought it reset my progress back to stage 1, and it's like, video game. Come on, man. There are certain things it is socially acceptable to do as a video game designer, but resetting me back to the beginning, that is no good. Oh, nice. I don't know if you know this, but you can, like, actually retreat if you were so inclined. You're like, oh no. Thankfully, we're making this curve in 2 dimensions, and so it is always clear what is the inside and what is the outside, but I do enjoy that I'm trying to make this curve that, because initially I thought it would be here, that's the outside, but it turns out that's the inside, or maybe it's the other way around. Well, that's kind of weird. So the game was nice to me, and it gave me the bigger piece, but also it didn't give me the piece that had the boss in it. Maybe I'm also misremembering this. Can you believe I have a lot of hazy childhood memories? But I swear, like, if you manage to surround the boss, then, you can... Oh, what is it? As if Qix wasn't, like, enough. Now there were little shocky guys just traveling along the line, trying to, like, absolutely ensure you do not have a good time with this game. I mean, dang, designers, dang. There is, like, a limit. Speed up. Come on. Risk it all. Oh, yeah. Okay. So I think the deal is, like, you can surround the tiny enemies, which is not so, well, I was gonna say it's not so hard. It's kind of hard, but I guess you can't you can't trap the bosses or something. That seems, well, on one hand a little funny, but on the other hand, it's like, ask yourself, why are you trying to trap the boss? It's because you know it's gonna be a good move. Wow, CRT halation with, like, old retro pics. Oh man. Oh man. One of these days, I'm going to boot up one of these MAME games, except it won't be a MAME game. It'll just be a slideshow of a bunch of slideshows scaled to 240p, upscaled with CRT halation. And I will just scroll through them, and I will just pretend like, oh, come on, man. I was having fun for a second, a brief second there. I was having fun with Qix. And Qix is just like, no, man, no fun allowed. I don't know if you noticed this, but no fun allowed. Anyway. Back to Qix, although I don't know how much longer I can say that. But, oh, jeez, what was I mean, I know it wasn't important, but it's at least nice to sort of keep the thread of conversation. Oh, yeah, I was just gonna make a slideshow of pictures scaled to 480p and then upscaled with this retro filter and just be like, yep, here are a bunch of non-contextual... Oh, geez. Oh, my. I mean, you'd think I'd be hilariously unsafe in, like, this snake maze of my own making, and yet this seems to be a legitimate strategy for dodging the shocker. just making a little snake in my own snake life. But it's like, hey, Ashgabat Cat tours the world. Oh, I guess it's technically a video game or something. And it's just a slideshow. And I'll see how long it takes you guys to notice that it's a slideshow. Wow. There is just so much tiling of old age bitmaps in this game. So, I mean, naturally, you have the giant space background, practically obligatory at this point. I mean, you can complain about the space background. I certainly will complain that it is the same space background over and over, but I recall in previous Qix games, it was usually just like a completely black screen, so I can live with this for now, but I do expect more. But then you also have like the diagonal scrolling image in the background, was was I actually trapping that little spinner guy, or was he just like setting up an ambush? He's like, oh, I got you right where I want you, and I'm like, I do not want to be here. Oh, weird. So like if you trap them in the path, then they seem to, okay. We have extracted all of the fun that can be had from this game. Now, I'm not going to say that you cannot have fun with Qix, but there's a certain point where it's like you get it, you see what the game has to offer, and like sometimes with these Qix games, like they'll show you some interesting pictures, but I mean, what do we have? Like the Great Wall of China, some Moai heads. Like, I'm gonna need a little bit more than Baby's First Encyclopedia to sate my interest. Or slake my thirst. Huh. Oh, okay, that's like a baby from outside. I thought the game was making like baby crying like noises, and it's like, oh my gosh, what did they add baby noises to this game? That being said, like I would not be surprised, and frankly, it would fit in surprisingly well with the whole aesthetic of this game. Ay. Look at it, 5 bosses. Are there more bosses than this? Do they just loop? You'll never play enough games in a row to find out. Oh, man. Actually, it kind of reminds me of abstract board games, where it's like, in an abstract... Well, okay, so the whole deal about board games is, like, they have themes. Modern day board games, it's seemingly obligatory to have a theme. But if you think about old age board games, or, as I called them in my childhood so long ago, board games, like, you thinking usually things like chess or checkers, where, what's the theme? It's like, oh yeah, you're abstractly having a battle. This one's called a king, this one's called a queen. It's like, why are your king and queen on the field of battle? The game chess is just like, it's kind of abstract. Just roll with it. And it's like, okay, sure. And there's no, like, real actual theme. Compare this to Railway to Ride, Ticket to Ride, also Settlers of Catan. Trust me, I know more modern board games, like Fleet or Wingspan. Sure, those are modern games. But anyway, like the old school modern day board games all kind of had themes. Like in Carcassonne, you were setting down tiles to build a giant city. And so that's your theme. And it's like, you look at a piece and you're like, I immediately understand how this piece fits into the larger piece of things because I know what a city is. I know what this piece is in relation to a city. I kind of have a context for this. But you play an abstract game like chess and it's like, oh, it's the knight. It's like, I've heard of knights in real life. What does this knight do? It's like, well, it can move two spaces forward, 1 to the left. And it's like, okay. And chess is like, dude, just roll with it. Trust me, it's a good game, I swear. And it's like, this game is the abstract game of arcade games. Because, like, you play something like, I was going to say Mario is an arcade game, but that's very notably not an arcade game. You play something like, what's Pac-Man that what's an arcade game I played recently that was not similarly abstract? Because Pac-Man's pretty abstract. Well, okay, even Pac-Man, okay. So, like, you've got this small yellow hemicircle. Well, he oscillates between hemicircle, quarter circle, like a hemicircle, 3/4 circle. But like he's hungry. He wants to eat all the stuff, and it's like, okay, I get it. But then the ghosts are also hungry for me, and it's like, okay, sure, ghosts like eating me. Eat the small dots, avoid the big ghosts. It's like, got it. But like you look at this game, and it's like, okay, it's like, so you play as a shining orb on a giant green line. Your objective is to hold down a button and trace out a new path. And it's like, but why? And it's like, they just continue with the rules explanation. It's like, okay, and so you have to draw the path out, and if you connect back to the original green path, then you trace out a portion of the background. And it's like, okay, what am I trying to do? Searching for hidden treasure or something? And they're like, okay, now that you have done this once, what you want to do is you want to keep doing this until you trace out a large amount of the screen. If you trace out 70% or more of the screen, then you can advance. And it's like, what the heck? Is that like that's just the most abstract thing I've ever heard. Of course, if you actually sit down and play it, you can understand it in like half a second. It's kind of marvelous how simple it is. Like, a lot of things are easier said than done, but not this game. This game, like, I don't even think you could explain it in words entirely. But if you wanted to sit down and play it, it's like, just looking at this intro screen, well, this intro screen notably does not do anything, but if the intro screen did anything, showed off any amount of gameplay whatsoever, yeah, you'd be able to pick up this game in no time flat. They just kind of show, and it's like, I also love that they're going for a quote-unquote theme, where like the bosses are themed after monuments or landmarks or something, and like the images you trace out are stock photos of landmarks and stuff, but it's like, that's not really a theme. That doesn't inform your gameplay. It's like, what do landmarks have to do with Qix? It's like, I don't know, just go off the green line and make new lines. And it's like, yeah, sure, whatever. And yet, I swear, this game is just absolutely everywhere in the arcade. I don't understand this game. Like, I understand the base mechanics of the game. I'm not an idiot, but like, I just don't understand where this game fits into the larger game canon. Why are there so many of these games? It's the same game over and over. Like, they don't even really change the gameplay, and yet Twin Qix, I don't even, like, they're not even labeled sequels. This isn't like Qix 5 or something. This is like Twin Qix. It's like, how does that compare to Qix? It's like, I don't know. Is this an expansion board for Qix? Is this like the 6th game in the series? Is this like a completely unrelated game made by somebody completely pretending to be Taito? Probably not that, but I really have no idea what this game is, why it exists, and why it plays. All I know is that this cat's got a scat.